Yo, what's up? This is E4K and we're gonna talk about, is Korea the kingdom of plastic surgery?
돌아가는 시간 내가 틀에 박힌 사람 Mr. 1K 여기 온 이유를 그대 아나 그건 하나.
Do most of the South Korean girls do plastic surgery? You may have heard of Korea is the kingdom of plastic surgery. And where did this come from? You may heard it on the news or TV, on internet, on the media, everywhere, somewhere else that most of the South Koreans are doing the plastic surgery. Because you see a lot of the Korean dramas, K-pop idols, even the guys are looking more prettier, you know. They got the skins are flawless and all that stuff, and people are wondering why they are looking so good. And even for some foreigners who have visited Korea are saying a lot of people are looking pretty good. Does this apply to every Korean? Of course not. Look at me and look at you.
Look at you, now look at me.
What is true and what is false? And let's find out. Before finding out, smash that like and subscribe buttons for more interesting topics. If there is a result, we have to verify the cause. I want to point out one thing, that all the information that media is releasing is not always reliable. It's not 100% a fact. So you have to keep that in mind. Also, it applies with the statistics too. The statistic always doesn't justify the results. So we have to look into more professional and reliable statistics. Look into the details too. You may have seen this kind of statistic before. I have found this statistic in the internet. If you look into the statistics, you can see definitely Korea is number one. Number one on the top 5 countries. Procedures per 1,000 populations. Korea, number one, Greece, Italy, US, and Colombia. I don't have much details on this, so I've made some search on this graph. I found this one. The statistic was from 2010, released from Economist. Okay, Economist, you're pretty much reliable. But there's something you have to see it in this graph. The details. The devil's always in the details. The most part this graph is taking is non-invasive part. Non-invasive, especially in Korea. It's almost like half. And it says skin and hair. Non-invasive means you don't use your mask, you don't use your knife to do the procedures. Do we categorize this as a plastic surgery? Or more like laser or injections like Botox? Not using prosthetics, material, something like that? More on the skin care. I don't know if you can consider that as a plastic surgery. In Korea, nobody thinks having a skincare therapy as a plastic surgery, like having a little laser, getting rid of the spots. Could be also, I'm not sure about the hair, maybe the implant. Many Korean men are very sensitive on hair loss. So a lot of Korean men are taking care for the hair loss. If we take off this non-invasive part, Korea will be in the rather second or third place. It is still in the top part, but it is definitely not the number one. The statistic is 10 years ago, so you might have changed a lot. I've done some more research. I went into this website called ISAPS, International Survey on Aesthetic and Cosmetic Procedures. And the latest one was on 2019. I went in to see the surveys and top 10 countries ranked by total number of procedures. I couldn't find South Korea over here. Of course, this is absolute sum. It was quite interesting to see that Korea was out of the loop. I've tried to look into more to find out if there's the data about South Korea. And I found this one, top 30 number of plastic surgeons by country. You can see South Korea was placed on number 5. That is relevantly a lot, considering the South Korean population is 50 million. Comparing with the other countries, South Korea is ranking high. Yeah, I'll tell you the reason why there's so many plastic surgeons in Korea too. So if I searched more on the previous years, find out if there's other data about South Korea. And this was on 2015. South Korea was placed on 4th place, and I couldn't find any more. Then what kind of plastic surgery does Korean women do? The top number one might be the eyelid surgery. The eyelid surgery is to make your double eyelid on your eyelid, okay. East Asians have small eyes compared to the Westerners, and maybe that could be the reason why double eyelid surgery is more popular. It's very common procedures a lot of women do. It could be maybe 30% who has done the double eyelid surgeries. But looking at the data, I found something very interesting. The top ranking countries, eyelid surgery is also taking the most part in the face plastic surgery. Every single country had similar portions. One thing we have to count is the number of foreigners coming to Korea for this surgery. On 2019, more than 10% of foreigners are coming into Korea for plastic surgeries. And there is even plastic surgery medical tour, what you call it. The Chinese is taking absolute number one out of all the foreigners. The population is huge. A lot of Chinese come to Korea for plastic surgery. I'm assuming Korea is more reliable on the plastic surgeons.
저희 병원 같은 경우에는 실제로 오시는 환자분들의 반 이상이 외국에서 오시고 있고요. 작년 기준으로 3,000명 이상이 방문을 하셨습니다.
And also, there are a lot of marketing done to these Chinese customers. The next one's taking United States. This was quite surprising. In Japan, but it's not a match with the Chinese percentage. And all the other etc. Mostly around Asia. The reason why many foreigners come to Korea for the plastic surgery is, first of all, the plastic surgeon skill is one of the top tier surgeons in the world. There are a lot of plastic surgeons in just one area called Gangnam. You know Gangnam from
오빤 강남스타일.
And there, in this one area, there's almost like 300 to 400 plastic surgery in this area. The reason is simple. They make a lot of money. And also, comparing to other medical majors, they have less burden, like brain surgery or cancer, something like that. As this number of plastic surgeons increase so much, get more and more competitive in the industry. So they adopt more different new types of methods and they get more skilled. So the whole industry developed in a high level. Since they cannot compete each other with the domestic patients, they do a lot of promotions and discounts to make more people to get the plastic surgery. But still, since the population is limited, they do a lot of marketing overseas, especially China, Japan, and other Asian countries. Competitiveness they have, other than the skill, is also the price. For instance, if you want to get an eyelid surgery in United States, you need at least minimum of $2,000 to $4,000. Similar in Japan, 2,000 to 4,000, depending on the methods you use. But when you come to Korea, we can start off from $500, maximum 2,000 from the top skill method. This marketing and promotions are getting really aggressive. They use this kind of before and after pictures. They post it all over the place, post it on the wall, and you have maybe seen this on the internet. Who the heck is this person? It's a totally different person. You cannot distinguish it. You know, most of these advertisements are exaggerated. So you have to keep in mind, if you see the before photos, you can see their hairs are kind of messy. They're not having those makeup. But if you see the after, they got full makeup. Their hair looks much more neat. And they do the Photoshop touch. So never trust the photo. They use celebrities to promote their hospital. Of course, they do the skincare and they do maybe injections or something like that rather than cutting their bones off or, you know, changing the whole face. One of my friends was working as a plastic surgery consultant in this one of the number one biggest plastic surgery hospital in Korea. And she told me she saw a lot of foreigners probably every day. They had a consultant speaking Chinese, Japanese, and English. Maybe more than 10 to 20% of the patient was foreigners. The number of patients is increasing as time passes on. Maybe a few decades ago, doing the plastic surgery was considered as negatives. When the women did the plastic surgery, they hide the fact they did the plastic surgery. And when people noticed about that, they thought it was not right to do plastic surgery because it's not natural. Many people were very conservative on this plastic surgery, but nowadays it's more open. People are more open. Also, with the cost, it was quite expensive, but nowadays the cost has really decreased, and also the average income has increased, so many people could afford to do the plastic surgery. So everything just joined together. So nowadays, doing like eyelid surgery is not a big deal. It's nothing to hide anymore. Unless you do the prosthetics or getting this, fat out of the body, When I see the girls around me, there aren't many girls who are making the whole big construction on their face. So to get to the conclusion, of course the rate is pretty much high, but it is not the number one. And mostly they're done with the non-invasive procedures, little by little. It is true that many Koreans consider their appearance as the important factors in society. Relevantly, the makeup and the fashion has developed in high level. There has been a criticism on this appearance-oriented views. So many people are now getting freed on their appearance, but still the young people and especially the girls has a lot of interest on their appearance. I think that's common in every other countries too, but if it makes it very stressful, it's not a good idea to focus much on your appearance. Okay, if you made it this far, that's it for today, and I will come up with more interesting topics next time. Leave a comments and likes. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put down the comments. Thanks for watching.